Mental health is how you think, you act, and how the emotions are. If you're able to cope with situations and you're feeling the ability to be able to adjust day-to-day events, your mental health is okay. But whenever we are not able to adjust, to do and deal, and we feel distressed, and we're not able to take care of our lives over a period of time, then we are setting ourselves into a mental illness situation. So when you're in good mental health, it means that your thoughts, your emotions, they are at a balance. That doesn't mean you're not having struggles in your life. You're just able to deal. You're just able to go through your day today. Because even when how WHO defines health, it's not the mere absence of illness, but it means you're able to move along every other day and be able to do the things that you need to do. But now when your health is compromised, then now we say now there's an illness.
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.
Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, and I'm so humbled to be here this morning.
So beautiful to have you. Yeah. She's a psychologist. She's the CVO of My Afia Africa, an organization doing absolutely an amazing job, in first of all, starting to have this mental health conversation, sensitizing people and getting people the help they actually need, and being Mental Health Awareness Month. It's just perfect that we have you with us this morning. Yeah,
thank you very much.
It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and let's start there. What do we mean when we're talking about mental health, and what are we really celebrating?
All right. Thank you very much for having me here. And I'm also grateful because this is a session that we keep having to share on things that we experience in our daily lives. So it's not out of the blues. It may look like a very big word, but bring it closer home. We all have experiences here and there. Every year, there's always a Mental Health Awareness Month, which is May. It's always celebrated in May. This year, the week between 13th to 19th is when that was being marked, but we are still here, going through the motions of the whole month.
Yeah.
And there's always a theme. This year's theme is moving for our mental health. And why is that important? It's because sometimes our lives have changed and we don't realize how moving helps us to feel good. By moving, we exercise our bodies, our mind, and we release the feel-good hormones. We have two hormones in our bodies. We have endorphins, the happiness hormone.
Yes.
And then we have cortisol, norepinephrine, that are our stress hormones. So when you're having those stressful moments, your body recognizes that, and because it needs to help you to deal with the stressful situations, it makes the norepinephrine and the cortisols to go high to be able to respond to those particular events that you're going through. Now, for you to be able to get a balance, that's the importance of you leaving your desk or leaving your bed. If you're listening to me and you've not left your bed in the last couple of days and you're thinking the life has been so unfair, just try one thing to be good to yourself. Leave, just do a little exercises, even if it's beside your bed, or walk between the rooms, or walk outside the house. You will feel a difference because now the other hormone, the feel good, the happiness hormones, they get to be released. So all these hormones, they have a role in us. So the moving for mental health is great to remind us that besides wanting to achieve other things that we've set for ourselves, we need also to take care of our own bodies. So keep moving.
Wow.
Keep moving.
I love it. I really, really love it. And you've touched on something we are going to be discussing today, and that is maintaining our mental health in stressful situations and seasons. And I feel like we are in a very stressful season as a country, as the world, as the globe rather. And how do we do that? How do we maintain a healthy mental health, or rather a healthy mind in these seasons? How can we do that?
Right. Allow me to just have just a bit of an overview about what is mental health and what is mental illness, because I think sometimes you get to have a mix of the two. Just like you have your physical health, there's a mental health. And the mental health is how you think, you act, and how the emotions are. If you're able to cope with situations and you're feeling the ability to be able to adjust day-to-day events, your mental health is okay. But whenever we are not able to adjust, to do and deal, and we feel distressed and we're not able to take care of our lives over a period of time, then we are setting ourselves into a mental illness situation. So when you're in good mental health, it means that your thoughts, your emotions, they are at a balance. That doesn't mean you're not having struggles in your life. You're just able to deal. You're just able to go through your day today. Because even when how WHO defines health, it's not the mere absence of illness, but it means you're able to move along every other day and be able to do the things that you need to do. But now when your health is compromised, then now we say now there's an illness. So there's a difference when people just throw words like, I think my mental health is not okay, and I'm like, so what would you give me more information about that? What does that mean? Being sad or being distressed does not mean you have a mental illness. It just means you're having one of those life moments. For you to be diagnosed with a mental health illness, there's always a criteria. How long has this been affecting you? Is it affecting you how you adjust to life? Then at that point, there's a problem. Then we get to address the problem. And now back to the question of building on this resilience. First of all, we need to ask ourselves, we are building our mental strength towards what? Because we sometimes may put all ourselves in the same cocoon and we are not even having the same problems, all of us, because we are all built differently. We're in different environments and circumstances. So at the moment we could say, if the recent events around the floods, so they left a very devastating effect. It could be financial. It could be the losses that you lost a loved one, the losses to property, the losses to many investments that people have had over a period of time. Someone else, their distress is around because they're diagnosed with a new illness. It could be as simple as diabetes. It could be as grave as cancer. So we first need to look at what is that is stressing you at this point in life. We could be having an economic downturn, but there are people who are not experiencing it for different reasons, wherever they are. But there are some who are hit tragically. So at that point, it's good to have a balance, to be able to identify each individual, what is this that is stressing you? Because you also need to build your resilience around the things that are stressing you. So the ability to find out this is what is eating me up is a basis, is a beginning where you start healing from. Otherwise, when you're just, I am here, but everything looks so doom, but I still can't figure out what. It's also very hard to ask to help you, because we need to move you from the point A to point B. But yes, it is possible to build on our resilience by being able to identify what is this that is currently I'm struggling with, and where do I need to be. So I am in financial quagmire. I didn't see this job loss coming. I didn't see this downsizing coming, and I'm the sole breadwinner. So I'm faced with this huge responsibility of sustaining my family at the same level where we should have been. And I have to make some decisions. It's either with this downsize also means I also have to move to a different location that I'll be able to continue giving my family the same amount of comfort that I was able to. Alternatively, negotiate with my family that we cannot be able to sustain ourselves. We probably need to make drastic adjustable movements. So you need to have other people be with you to be able to make these particular decisions. And the problem happens where someone carries this so much with themselves without sharing with the other person for them to understand. If you have a partner, let them know what you're going through. Let them know the thoughts that you're having. Let them know where the input that you need from them. If you're alone, and probably you also have a breadwinner to your family, talk to the people who are depending on you and let them know the circumstances. But sometimes the fear of also speaking out for people not to see us as failures holds us back. You're in debt. You're trying to explain to someone that I will pay you, but I don't have money right now. But they decide they are going to keep you on your toes even when you know you can't. That will take you to a breaking point. So we just need to be a bit understanding of each other. If we give the promises and you're not able to, and we are keeping on talking, let's be a bit also let's give people the space. Right now everybody is having something they're dealing with. Dealing with the loss of a loved one is quite devastating. You know, these are memories that people really take time to heal from, you know, to get to terms with. And at this point in time, we are in a hurry, I don't know, to make people grieve. And we want them to come out of it as fast. And sometimes that we tell them may feel insensitive to them, while myself, I may be feeling like I'm being helpful. Again, the choice of words we use at that point.
Very sensitive.
That it was God's doing. remember, one of the things that these individuals are fighting with is bargaining and asking God, but why us? But why me? Then at the same all this conflict, and you see it's his doing, and him is already having a fight with the same. But the why, especially if it's something either you invested so much hoping that things are turning around, or it was so sudden that it was not foreseen. So sometimes it's good to be present and just say, I'll be here if you need someone to talk to. I'll be listening. If you need that. I'll be helping you. So over time, you also make it easier for the other person to heal. So the whole process of healing and getting the resilience, as much as it takes me as an individual, it also takes the people around me to understand that I need a support system. Now, the support system also needs to realize how much important they are to the other person's life. So it could be your spouse, it could be your colleague, it could be your employer. Because I notice that employers are doing a very good job where when they're doing downsizing, they do mental health forums to prepare them for their adjustment. To those who are able to do that, that's very helpful because they prepare you. That doesn't reduce the impact. I mean, it doesn't remove the impact, but it reduces because you get ready. But again, different personalities will also take. Type A personalities sometimes get really affected by changes happening because type A personalities are competitive people. They're people with very high ambitions. Now, on the other hand, they tend to be very impatient, and therefore, whenever such instances happen, they have a bit of a problem adjusting to that. So building our resilience is first identifying with the situation. There's a problem with denial. You know, where you get stuck that you don't believe this thing happened. Well, it's the first instance that has to get to you. It's the first thing that you experience. This is a reality. So the first thing is gonna be denial. Absolutely. Getting stuck now in denial is where the challenge comes in, and this is where the illness might develop from, because you're so stuck that you're not able to see beyond now. But the moment you're able to start asking myself, so by being in this situation, is it harming or helping me? If it's not giving you any peace, then it's time now to ask yourself, how do I get to the next level? Ask for help.
So there are signs, Nancy, I believe that that even you as a psychologist ask for, like, okay, so how has your life been? Have you been eating? Have you been sleeping? You know, that will inform you that this person has not been okay. You know, and I don't, like you told us, it's not just I've been sad. I mean, that's okay. We are sad sometimes, and that's fine. But where do we draw the line? You know, when do things get out of hand? When should someone be worried about their mental health?
Right. Thank you very much. And on picking on the signs, the person, let's start with the individual.
Yes.
And I'll always say you can't speak of a person without thinking of the people around them. Well, we have become this society where we are so alone, but so much together. So I can actually feel alone and sad here, but you're surrounding me.
So sad.
So an individual will start noticing there's a problem when they start wanting to be in their own space. This is with the drawing. You don't want to be with the other people. They are taking away your energy, so you just want a space to be with you and yourself. You withdraw from the people. You do not want to interact, and maybe you are not the kind of person, the people who are introverts by nature. So sometimes that is their almost norm, but you may notice that they have become more withdrawn than normal, and even the activities that would engage me ordinarily, as much as they're introverted, they are no longer doing them. Or spaces you would see them, you're no longer seeing them. That should be an alarm. So what happened to Nancy? I no longer see her as much. This is their space. How come I no longer see her? Sometimes it's the interest of other people that be like, where is Nancy? And I go looking for her. Now, for those who are extroverted, they'll speak. They'll say, by the way, I'm feeling sad, but without them knowing they're even going through something. These days I'm feeling a bit of something. I'm feeling a bit off. I'm not able to sleep well. Last night, like the last 3 nights, I've almost been awake. I can tell everything happening around me. Over time, exhaustion will set in, because that's not how we are wired as human beings, because we need the rest. So other than the withdrawal, there could be drying spells, emotional. You're being emotional over small things. You're triggered a little bit. You cry, and people are like, that's not normal. So more often than normal, you'll notice by people when they withdraw, they isolate, they get those emotional spells. Other people get into anxiety. Remember, you're trying to manage things that you've not been subjected to before, or even if you have ever been, the intensity at this point is overwhelming. So some people can go into panic attacks. So you're walking in the street and all of a sudden maybe something gives you a reminder of an event that happened, or a memory just comes and you go into hyperventilation. And people are just thinking, they're looking at you and passing without knowing that that's someone who needs help. Ordinarily, you start feeling when you're changing your patterns, you are no longer going to work, you're expected to go to work. The other way is people coping maladaptively. Now you really can't deal with this thing. You don't know what is happening and you just need something to calm you down. So people go to substances. That is why you see people taking alcohol, because it makes you forget. But once you wake up, the memory is still there. You take again to forget. When you wake up, the memory is still there. So before you realize, you become an addict. You aren't trying to not take care of your life. You're thinking this is going to help. Others, you go into drugs. So you compound one problem which was not solved with another problem, because the addiction now is a new problem. And this is the time now maybe other people will notice, oh, here we are losing her, and come in to help you. So more often than not, mental health is not something you see when you look at me. You do not know even right now whether I'm going through situations in my life. You do not know even whether I slept last night if I don't tell you. You don't know whether I cried at the parking before I came out here.
I hope you didn't. I hope you weren't.
God has been gracious. So sometimes it's people will deal, then they're like, because I need this job, I still keep doing it. So people will still do it and sometimes show up. Sometimes people will still do it and show up. Then the body gets to a point and you can't do it anymore. And people will say, I can't do it anymore. And some people go suicidal. That I've really tried. So you're already having a situation. Let's say, for example, and sometimes like we were sharing earlier, is that things can happen in such a motion that you're left reeling in disbelief.
When it rains, it pours. Those
Precisely,
seasons.
And then it floods.
And then it floods.
You imagine one time you've lost someone you really loved. Before you realize, floods came. As that is coming to your job is at stake. Like you have no seasons. You can't say, now I'm in this season to rest. Things have happened so fast over time, and you thought you were strong, and all of a sudden you're breaking, and people thought, but you've always held yourself together. Sometimes people just adjust, push it to their back because they have other things that are competing that I need to do. So you will not always, it is not always that once I get stressed, I will just withdraw. I'll deal. That is where resilience now comes in. And resilience, this is something that we need to have as a mindset. That we keep fighting. There are people who give up very early, but there are people who keep on fighting and fighting until one point they say, I can't take it anymore. And that point you hear somebody commit suicide and you're like, tulikuwa naye jana. But what you don't know is that even when they were there, they looked with the drone, or they were the loudest that day to try and hide whatever emotion. So if you ever notice someone is having some changes that you can notice, please ask them. Also caregivers. When you're going through all these emotions, you're taking care of a cancer patient. People will come in and out as they try to help you. But what they do not know is how much it takes from you to give that. And you do not want to make them feel like you're getting tired. There's what we call compassion fatigue. You help and help to a point you also need help. And nobody sees that you need help. These are the kind of things I'm saying. Getting resilience when things are challenging. It is not only when we are looking at the finances, the way things are happening economically. There are so many other intimate things that happens that I'm taking care of this loved one, and people think I'm doing very great, but I'm at the point where I also need help. But I also, if I start saying I need help, people will not even understand me. So I keep on holding. But the next thing I break down. So the signs are always there. You as a person, if you start feeling overwhelmed, because you will know by this now time I'm not feeling okay, before you think of taking away your life, speak to someone you trust. It is important so that somebody can help you. You can speak to your if you're religious, to your pastor. You can speak to a friend, a relative. Their employers were very understanding. Let somebody know what you're going through, and absolutely therapy will help you.
Amazing.
Yeah, people we're trying to break the stigma around, seeking therapy. Seeking therapy doesn't mean you're mad. It's just the same thing I've said. Speak to all those people. It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
But now when you come to therapy, it's a whole different professional approach.
Yeah.
So identify when you start feeling this is out of sync. I am feeling overwhelmed. I'm losing my grip. I need someone to talk to. Please do before it is too late.
Right.
Amazing. And maybe you can just help us with some practical steps. Maybe someone is listening to us today and they're thinking, this is me. You have just spoken about me, Nancy. That is me. Everything is just, just it looks like it's all against me. So maybe just some practical steps on what to do. Okay, I've woken up. And then, or how do I even get myself to wake up?
Get out of bed. There's someone probably struggling to get out of bed.
Yeah, so maybe you can just talk to someone like that.
Well, it's not as easy as saying get out of bed.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. This is someone who has, as I have said, given it what they'd call their all in trying to cope, in trying to understand, because there's someone who will be fired and the next day they can't leave the job. Like that hits them like a thunderbolt. There's someone else who will even hide it from the wife and wake up every day, put on their suit and leave the house.
Yeah.
Until now, when maybe the savings or whatever they are dwindling and they realize, I thought I'll get another. So the people who will build to keep coping. So the people resilience, they keep on and keep on and keep on then until that day when you can't wake up. And then before you realize it, here it's me. Now I'm in bed, I can't wake up. And my wife is like, you're gonna get late, and you're wondering, where do I even start telling you where the situation is? And at this point now is where I'm saying to whoever it is you need to talk to, please talk to them.
Okay.
Let them know. You might be surprised that all you needed was to just say what you need. They'll be shocked, surprised, or confused, but at least someone has heard you. So you try and talk to someone. That is basics, because you're already feeling overwhelmed. Then get out of bed, exercise a little, just walk around. Also being out of the environment that stresses you, it makes you have a different kind of way of breathing. Meet friends, but be careful. The friends you're meeting, again, remember we've talked about looking for coping mechanisms. This might take you. And there is also the way friends, we look out for each other. And when you're missing, they'll be like, hey, where are you? We've not seen you for quite some time. And because you don't want to sell yourself out, you go and they buy one, you one or two. And before you realize, you find, the moment I took that, I felt better. Then it becomes now more of a habit. Talk to someone, identify with your feelings, and seek for therapy if you're in a position to seek for therapy. And therapy can be offered by a professional. You just need to visit them, look at your pastor, tell them. They will always point you to the right direction. All right. So if things are so challenging, just get somebody. You must move. That one, if you're in bed, you need to move. Find the purpose. At least look for 3 things you can be grateful for. Life can't be that gloomy. Things can be going terribly wrong, but at least if you look back, is there something to be worth of gratitude? That will probably even get you out of bed.
Really,
Is there something worth for me celebrating that? I lost 1, 2, 3 things, but I'm worth of gratitude that I will be the next voice for people who go through situations like this and they do not know where to begin. So I am going to beat what I'm going through now, because I still have this life. I still have this support system. I still have probably this job. I still have this spouse. I still have these children looking up to me or supporting me. So this will not be the doom that I want to be identified with. I will still rise again. If you remember the story of Israelites, and they were moving from Egypt to Canaan. That journey was, they were promised to be given
the land of milk and honey.
Yeah. So how was your journey?
Definitely
Flight
not
from
milk
one destination to the other.
Definitely not.
The first hurdle they encountered was
the Red Sea.
The Red Sea. And when their assailants were almost coming, what did God do? He had a plan.
Yeah.
And it happened.
Yeah.
But you can imagine after they crossed over the other side,
There
and
was
God
more
is still
problems.
feeding them with manna.
Yeah.
Some people are like, it is better Egypt
Yeah.
than we're here where we are still suffering.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But God had not gone back on his promise
Yeah.
that I'll take you to the land of Canaan. All right?
Yeah.
Where there's milk and
And honey.
sometimes we want instant results in our challenges, but that's not usually the case. So those who go to Canaan eventually go to Canaan.
Yeah.
Because they chose to push on.
Yeah.
And God kept to his promise. God will still keep to his promise again.
Wow.
Also, if you are prayerful, seek God. He will give you some answers that no other being can be able to give you. All right? Forgive.
Hey, hapo kwa forgiving.
Wow.
Forgive.
Yeah.
Sometimes the reason we are sick is because we are carrying pain caused to us by other people. You know, we feel rejected by them, we feel mistreated by them, they bullied us just because they could. Another point, I was vulnerable.
Yeah.
They attacked you at your most lowest moment. And then you're always thinking if the worst can hit them so that you can
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think
You
you'll
can
feel better and
equalize.
equalize.
Yeah.
you will find a lot of peace
Yeah.
in forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't come easy. And forgiveness, people need to identify that forgiveness is not about them. It's about you.
Yeah.
It is about how it makes you become after you forgive. Doesn't mean you'll forget that happened, because life experiences teach us to become better. For of course that experience will teach you either things to avoid or to hold on to in that experience.
Yeah.
What you do is by forgiving, you extend a lot of grace to yourself. Because you will not be triggered every other time someone does something like that. You will puka.
Yeah.
You've already extended a lot of grace to yourself that you learn. This is how it starts. I know how it will end.
Yeah.
And I'm out. So you stop the fire burning. You know how you remove a matchstick
Yeah.
when it's burning, and you stop this fire and say, I always choose to be the one who's doing it different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? So forgiveness starts meaning you have compassion with yourself, that despite going through all this,
Yeah.
I will rise again.
Wow.
That it is not about them, it's
about you.
But yes, you need to look for help. You need to speak up. You need to be very much aware of what is this that is ailing me.
How can we come together and really help each other go through, some of these stresses? Because as you said, we can be together here, but we're not together. Maybe you can just help us see how we can be there for each other.
Awesome. Society is a great way to really address some of the issues that we are going through.
Yeah.
And society can also be the source of our own detriment. And I'll look at this in both angles, if you allow me.
Yes, please.
You know, if you belong to a community or a society, and a society can be anything from my work, whatever you call your tribe, it could be the work colleague at where you are at that point in life. If you're a person who is prominent and you're a public figure, it could be beyond some ages or boundaries or something like that. So within those particular spaces, we need to create a lot of awareness. The awareness around the impact that mental health have on people in various and different ways. And also there's no one recipe that fits all. If you had a loss and you look like you came around very fast, and then we have Winnie going through the same but getting so stuck, let's not use this to compare, because we are very different. We have told stories that probably this is just a trigger to things that we've never spoken about. Extend to people a lot of grace, kindness, as in like priceless things that we can do. Give people a lot of kindness, extend a lot of it. If you have it, just give it for free, because God gave it for free to you. Have a lot of empathy. How you talk to people, do it with a lot of empathy, not sympathy. Empathy.
There's a difference.
Wow.
There's a difference. When you're empathetic, you're listening to understand, not to answer. There are people who talk at each other. There's a difference when we talk at each other and I talk to each other. So if you take time to actively listen what I'm saying, you'll even pick an emotion. The what we call the untold, the unsaid. You'll even pick one line and say, did I hear you say 1, 2, 3? Would you want me to understand more about that? And before you realize, you may trigger someone into a space where you probably would not even have if you are listening. Wamalize, you give them an answer and go. So active listening whenever somebody is talking to you, especially, it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
A lot of courage for someone to want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I have done my, like, gosh, today I want to go and talk to Winnie, and I hope, God, just give me I hope she'll understand where I'm coming from. And maybe Winnie, just you guys have a conflict. And I said about forgiveness. And so Winnie is preparing to have this out of her way. And then the day I come and sit with Winnie, I would like to have a conversation with you. The first thing you do, you shout at me, you remind me how 1, 2, 3 many words that I am this and that and that. And I had prepared myself for this forgiveness, for our truth. It doesn't mean because we can't always live like this. Sometimes we are so impatient with other people. If we could only cultivate patience with others, listen to others, be kind, stop digging other people's past. Sometimes it's not helpful. There are things people also don't know how to deal with them. Now the fact that you know them gives you no right to bring them and throw it on their face and for everyone else to see. That kills them. So it will be very hard for you. If you thought you're correcting them, you lose them and lose them and lose them a little more. And they'll shut, they will withdraw, they'll not ever. That is why even in the family setup, listen to what people are saying. Even children. Every more often than not, what I see a lot of sign-ups people asking for is trauma. We are causing so much trauma to each other because of how we are acting, how we are talking, our behavior, our emotional abuse, all that. If only we could, one person at a time, have introspection. You yourself, have a meeting with yourself. Introspect and ask yourself, as you blame others, where are you? Can others say you're kind? Can others say that you can be counted upon? Can you be that confident that people look up to? Again, for those people who find people gravitating towards them because they have the heart to listen, also seek to have your own therapy. Don't push people away and say, hey, I'm handling too much. God gives us gifts. We may not all be psychologists. In fact, we may have psychologists who probably found their calling somewhere. Or you could be in a different kind of whole calling, but people gravitate towards you. If you can listen, then you can refer them so that you also avoid your own burnout for professional help. But if you can, just listen. Just advise them on which way to they can navigate. You can refer them for therapy. You can probably, by that listening, they'll always give a story and say, that day. You sometimes even, some conversation people say, I had her talk. That day I was going to do 1, 2, 3 to myself. And I said, why not try this other one thing? Okay, so as a community, we have a role that each of us, if we tried kindness, would be a happier society. If we see people struggling with something, be curious. Sometimes to just say, is there something that I can help you with? Would you want someone to talk to? Can I buy you lunch? What's up?
Imagine living in that world. Where we're that
and
kind
sometimes you don't have
to
to go to a expensive place. That lunch you're buying for me of 20 shillings could be all the thing I wanted that day to brighten my day. So sometimes our kindness, if it goes beyond just saying, these days they've just decided they don't talk to people. And then when something happens, they're like, so why did they not talk? But they were talking in all sense, in the actions, in how they were not able to express. Stigma is a big problem. You come out and other people, before they understand you have a mental health issue, they start digging you other things. Let me deal with first the thing that brought me here, then you can do the rest. To the families, parents, listen to your children.
I want to give you an extra mic there.
Listen to your children. Sometimes they're going through things that only if you listened you would hear and help them. Sometimes they just need you to sit, listen. And when they tell you, as horrid as they may be, hold yourself. Hold yourself. If you don't have an answer right away, just say, I have heard you. I'll be back. But do not rush out at that child for telling you something that's happening to them. And you start asking them how they got themselves in that situation. All they needed was you, so that we stop having a generation that is not able to find empathy in each other and holding so much pain that when they grow up, they grow apart. You get to a point and you don't want to visit your family, you just don't want to be identified with them and all that. This is a society that we need to have, a society that we can be there for one another. So in the societal aspect, allow me to say that. So where we wake up and be supportive, then there is where people wake up one day and they decide to make your life miserable. Just because you did something wrong doesn't mean you're a bad person.
It's true.
But once, and I'll tell you, for example, right now people are going through a lot, especially economically.
Yeah.
So when I borrowed you some money, I thought I'll be able to pay. I was unable to. I'm still telling you, at some point I will pay you. I'll pay. It's not like we're not even in communication. We are in communication. But you just decide to go bonkers. You go hire your crew. You feed them your story. And curiously, you do not tell them that I'm buying time. You just give them this story. Then they all decide to come online and attack you, bring you down. Now, what benefit did you get by bringing me down?
Nothing. First, you don't get your money. You still don't get your money.
And that I give you, because again, the people who have, like, I'll still pay you, even if you've done this to me, because I also don't want the burden of that debt being with me. I'll still pay you. But you will never be able to tell me sorry enough. For attacking me, because the issue was there's a difference between what we were doing together, me as a person, my niceness and goodness and my probably bad decisions that I made to get myself there, and now what you're trying to impress on people about me. You will never be able to rebuild me to that level, but of course people pick their pieces. So we can choose to be kind to each other. And even as we deal that, though, that life will still throw you curveballs. You can't help with that. Choose aspects which are helpful to you. Every time you're doing something, ask yourself, is this helping me or is it harming me?
That's true.
But now, to close on this, I'll say...
We're going to give you final remarks, And let's hear it.
So, first of all, remind you, this month, keep moving.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. That job that you love so much that you give us reasons why you can't move, please stand up. Stretch, go to the dispenser, take stairs down.
I love that.
Ditch the lifts. Ditch the lifts.
Yeah, take stairs. Take stairs. Lunchtime, take stairs. Keep moving. When you get to your house, TV remote, but remember you can have just do some activity. Keep working.
I'm
you
challenged.
Need that feel nice hormone. And also to let you know that, as we have said, challenges will still be there. Today there'll be economic. Tomorrow there'll be losses. Tomorrow there'll be relationships.
Tomorrow
it will be a child. Anything. When that happens, choose what will make it harmful to you. Let it go. What is important, have a balance. Remember to count the things that you can be grateful for. A person of gratitude. We call this in therapy benefit finding.
Benefit finding, I like
in
that.
Psychology. Benefit finding. Things can be all bad. There has to be something good. Use that to be your anchor to start going up and overcoming your adversity. And I've also said, choose aspects which you're in control. Start with them. Those that you're within your control, start with them. They'll help you to even deal with the ones that you're not in control. Speak out. Talk to somebody. And finally, this is my quote. You're not as a result of what happened to you. You are a result of what now you choose to be. After all this is said and done.
Someone wants to reach out to you probably right now. How can they get you? Where can they find you?
All right. My Afia Africa, we have a web platform. You head your way there. You'll see a sign up, and then all that will come to us. We do have a cohort of therapists. We will match you with a therapist of your needs. There's a bit of a questionnaire there. It asks you why in therapy, who do you need, what specifications of a therapist do you need. So for us, is to match you with a therapist. Of course, we keep in touch just to be sure you're getting the right help. So it's online. You can go there, head there. If you want to speak to me as Nancy, I leave my number.
Yes, you can.
It's okay.
Yes, you can.
You can reach me on 0702 126 007. 0702 126 007. More than that, visit My Afia Africa. My Afia is MYAFYA Africa. we are online. We'll be waiting to help you. God bless you.
Fantastic. God bless you and the great work that you're doing with My Afia. Amazing. As in, God bless you.
96.9 FM, Pearl Radio.